I haven't done a working on the car video in quite a while because it's been running pretty good, thankfully. But I've had some problems with these from coilovers. Technically, I don't know. I ordered the wrong mount, but I've seen plenty of other reviews to where they've done the same to other people and sent out the wrong type of mount. Whatever. I make things work. So the lower control arm mount on the driver's side on Halloween was broken when I came back after a test drive. When, I'm not sure, probably when I launched it pretty hard. But I fixed it. I'm hoping, I gotta keep an eye on it. I did everything the way that you normally would. I just had to make different little L-shaped brackets, but they mounted to the stock location, just like the stock shocks and just like the coilovers do on every other Jeep body that I've seen. They mount up under the control arm, which I'll show you. And it just never sat well with me, because that's when you have coilovers, that's the entire load, sprung load on 4 bolts, 2 on each side. But if it's the normal setup with just the shocks, cool, because the spring is still inside the cup of the actual arm. But I'll get a little bit more into this once I get everything torn apart. But driver side is done. Just gotta keep an eye on it. We're gonna do the passenger side. So I figured, got nothing else to do. Let's do this. So yeah, I'll get back into it. Quicker than I like, but we're good. I need a new jack. Nobody's business. Real life, not sped up. NASCAR. Alright. Now to undo sway bar, upper ball joint, and we'll be in there. I hate that. What am I doing? Y'all seen it first. What did I say? Top ball joint only? I need to take this one out. Here I am, trying to take it out. Yeah, it's my life. Took me almost 2 days to find one of these last time. Hand in the butt. Castle nut off. Alright. Time to come down slowly. Off. Get a little bit more light up in here. Alright. Yeah, so we're off the ball joint. So, basically, what happened is these two bolts broke, which it mounts up just as the stock do underneath on the bolts. But they broke. All the weight on those two bolts. Because if you have a spring, it sits in here. So it has something to actually sit and take load. Whereas this, it's just these two, nothing is sitting on these cup at all. It's literally just two bolts for the whole sprung weight of the front of the car on each side. So basically, I just flipped it to where my mounts are sitting inside now. So it's pushing down against this instead of pulling out. So hopefully it works. At least till I can afford some tubular lower arms. Luckily nothing was broken, but I'm also upgrading to grade 8 hardware. Apparently that's definitely not strong enough. And I might even try and open this up inward enough to get one size bigger bolts in there. And if not, I'm just gonna weld my two little L brackets to this arm. Then we'll be good. But, yep, that was the problem I was having. It's pretty late. I'm probably not gonna go too much further with it tonight, but I'll definitely record more. Yep. But we'll see you tomorrow night. All right, so we're back. Got my grade 8 hardware, washers, bolts. We'll replace those down in there. I think I gave a pretty good explanation of what I was gonna do. I'm basically just gonna flip my ears inside the control arm instead of being underneath like stock style shock mounts for G-bodies and early S10s. So I'll pull this out, flip it around, hopefully it works. We'll be right back. All right, we're taking apart. So pretty much what I've got is I made these two, there's a little L brackets, and the shock coilover mounts down through there, and this just mounts up through the control arm. It's basically how you buy them online when they send you the right part, but they didn't send me the right part. It looks kind of like this. It's just a big eyelet right there. So basically what I'm going to try and do, instead of going underneath, is I'm going to try and slip these in here to where this top lip sits inside, so the control arm will be underneath it. Shock still goes through the center. So then the weight will be on the bracket and not just a bolt. So I'm hoping that this all works out the way I think it is. I mean, I kind of expected this old stock location stuff not to work, especially since they're only like 5/16 inch bolts. So they're not very big. Wherever I put them. Yeah. I mean, there's one for the shock, one that holds the bracket. If I can, I'm gonna try and open up the holes on this to get a bigger bolt in, but I don't know if you can see that. This is where they mount that hole. There isn't really a lot of meat there. And I've already had to hog out down in here for these so that my adjustment screws don't hit. So yeah, I'm walking a thin line of metal. So we'll see if this works. We'll be back. Well, first problem I'm having so far, it's kind of a problem earlier, but for some reason, I mean, there's clearance there, but when I've got them under the car, they're binding. So I gotta figure out what the heck's going on. Yippee. Well, more problems after more problems. I got the bolt to go through, but now my bolts collide with the body, and on this side it wants to hit the button. So I'm going to try and maybe shim this big bolt on the bottom to spread these a bit more out. We'll see. It's just, you know, fabrication. Yay. Alright. I think we got her. I've got it cycled up to make sure that it's clearing everything. And as you can hopefully see, it's clearing my caps. All the bolts are clearing. I mean, we're pretty jacked far up right here. We're have to stand a bit so it's not binding up. Sits at a good height. I think I got the solution. So I'm just gonna look over it really good, make sure it is good, Loctite everything, and put it back together. Do it to the other side, because I did the other side different. Let's see, I'll show you without really showing you. Cycling down, feels good. All right, so if you can see on this one, how my elbow tabs go down, so the top sits on top of this arm, then the elbow goes down, and the bolt is just below this arm. So on the driver's side, I have this opposite, to where this is still sitting flat up here, but then it's coming up. So the bolt for the coilover is actually up here, which I don't like, because my ride height is super tall, even with bottoming out the coilover, and I don't like that. So this way, on this side, is much better, because I can have way more adjustability for the coilover, and it still sits flat on top, on the inside of this coilover, of this arm. So all the sprung weight from this is pushing down, but it's caught. So, you know, it's holding this, and the arm is pushing back instead of being underneath, to where basically just it's the bolt. And if the bolt gives away, this coilover wants to come out this hole. So yeah, I'll button it up. And I might not walk you through the other side, but I'll probably show you what I mean a little better, in case I was a little confusing on the orientation of these lower mounts. But yeah, I think we got it this time, and if not, I'll spend 50 bucks and see if the real brackets are any better, and if not, I'm gonna have to spend like 600 bucks on lower control arms, but I'll also lose weight at the same time. So yeah, give take situation. All right, be right back. Garage built. Alright. Sway bar put back on. Upper bolt joints tight. Steering links put back on. New pins everywhere. Time for tire. thought the Muggaduck is full yet. It ain't that powerful. Yeah, definitely still too much fender gap. I have to lower them coilovers just a hair, but everything looks good. On to the next. So we're at 2.25 foot on this side. $25.125 on that side. So we're still like an inch taller on the driver's side, but it has no more room to come down, whereas the passenger side has still like a whole inch to come down to where it's at on the driver's side. So I'm definitely gonna switch the driver's side over to the way that I did this, because I can get more travel and be a little bit gentler on my new coilovers. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. I'll come back. More than likely it's gonna be tomorrow, because it's late again, you know. After work, we don't have very long. But we'll get this finished and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, back on the driver's side. Got the steering, top ball joint, sway bar already off, you know, for like the 20th time. And this is kind of what I was gonna show you, is how this one was set up. So, as you can see, my ears come up instead of how I did the passenger side, which was down. I did this side first. I was just curious. I don't know. But obviously, as you can see, I ain't got nothing left on my coilover adjustment. Barely. And I don't like that. My other one, I've got like over an inch. So, that's where we're at. So I'm gonna flip it around and do it like the other side. So I'll do that. Be back.